Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And to the surprise of absolutely no one, the BBC doesn't know what the hell it's talking about.
You never. And they want us to pay for it.
We're gonna talk about this faux pas they made. They did a whole segment apparently on retro gaming, and can you spot the mistake as they're doing this 7 or 8 minute section on retro gaming? Someone put a NES Mario Brothers cartridge into a Super Nintendo console, which would really take some pushing.
Yeah.
To get that to happen.
Way to break both.
Yes, now the BBC has to kind of apologize for that, but makes them look incredibly stupid. A lot of people calling them out for that. A very, very basic mistake. I mean, I don't even have, like, all credibility is completely gone at this point.
I mean, okay, looking at the people that are like the ones that were talking about it, by the way they look, wouldn't one of them have noticed? Like,
you would think
by their ages, because by Super Nintendo, some of these people would have been around. I mean, there's millennials that are around for Super Nintendo. You would notice. You
would think, but they didn't. So, anyway, we're going to talk about that. Maybe we'll watch this clip and see what they're talking about here. But yeah, it's making the rounds on social media right now. Everybody thinks that they're complete morons. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to news.clownfishtv.com, help support the channel, get some exclusive content. We've also got articles out there. I promise we won't talk about how to shove an NES cartridge into your Super Nintendo console.
A couple things here. One, I have shoved big things out of a small hole twice, and it required medication. Also,
hey, not just out.
Okay, yeah, okay. We're going to look at this. Here's the thing. Maybe we're looking at this incorrectly about the BBC, because they want Americans over here to pay for their news and stuff over here.
Right.
Maybe it's worth paying for because you can get a good laugh.
There we
go. Maybe they're a comedy channel, and you have that.
God. Okay. Yeah. The UK. So this is the trade body, right? This is. Oh my God. Is this the? Are these the same people that were going after Stop Killing Games?
I don't know, but I remember, wasn't the BBC the ones that were like blowing off? Was it BBC that was blowing off the kid that beat the one record for playing the video game and then was that BBC?
I think it was I think it was Sky News or something. Yeah, they were the one kid that beat. Yeah, he beat Tetris. The kid literally beat Tetris. Huge accomplishments, never been done in decades, and they just blew it off as like, well, he should go outside and touch grass. Like, bitches. Bitch Broadcasting Corporation. There we go. That's what the BBC is. So let's take a look here at the clip first, and then we'll go out, read the article, look at the reactions to it.
Wait, before we do this, I just want to say, like, what I don't understand is, you have like Gen Z being like, oh my God, we want to, relive the 80s. And 10 to 1, the person who put this together and put it out there was like an intern or something that's a Gen Z person.
I'm sure.
And couldn't figure out how to put the right cartridge in the right hole. And I also want to appreciate all the pictures behind them because, I recognize a lot of that stuff. But
yeah, I could probably name all those concepts.
I bet you could.
All right.
A bit of quality time offline, but playing a game. And really, these games are fantastic feats of engineering, for their time.
For their time. Oh, stick it.
Fantastic feats of engineering. We can't figure out which cartridge he has and which
wait, so basically, so what this segment is about is what you've been saying, which is if you want to play games, you're probably going to want to go, on one systems that are not online because of the way they're regulating and they're deleting people's accounts and all that other crap. And we're talking about that at length. It's been a big topic of discussion. Now people are into retro games. So now they're going to try to act like experts by putting in the wrong cartridge in the wrong machine.
Well, let's hear this guy out.
What they were able to achieve. And so it's brilliant to see younger people discovering them for the first time.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
And they're simpler. Some of the modern games are so sophisticated. It's brilliant, but I mean, it requires an awful lot of thought and involvement.
I think that's it. I think, the modern world is a big, complex place. There's lots going on. And
so simple a child could figure out how to put the cartridge in.
Yeah, right. Except they didn't figure it out, and they're so much easier. Even though those games were made to suck quarters, so they're way harder than a lot of games today.
But that's what this is about. They're all jumping on the trend now, which really, I mean, it undermines the position that a lot of these games publishers and trade unions are taking against Stop Killing Games. They're like, oh yeah, these old games, they were great. You bought the game, you own the game. It wasn't online. They couldn't take it away from you. If you bought a game 40 years ago, as long as it's not damaged, you plug it into your console now, it still works.
Right.
Unlike Nintendo with recent Switch games, because of that stupid, and God, it just irritates me, that stupid virtual card thing. Even if you own the physical copy of the game, you can't play it unless it's been registered to that machine.
Well, they're just trying to stop people from buying physical copies and then reselling them or buying them cheaper, not giving them full price.
That's exactly, because the thing is they should be very worried, because if Gen Z and Gen Alpha go back to retro consoles, you're screwed, because they're not going to buy your new game. So what they're trying to do is make sure you can't, and then they want you to go buy a remaster.
Well, even if you can't find an original retro console, they make them anyway, that you could just buy games that are either play the original games, or you can buy games that are like they made a new version of the game.
Yeah.
They brought them back out, like we see with Atari. And you can, and by the way, that one game I ordered for your birthday is coming. What was it? Circus Games or something?
Super Circus Atari.
Super
yeah,
Circus
we're gonna talk about Atari. Atari's doing it right, I think.
But what I'm saying is, like, they can go out and get those now. You know what I mean? And use those now if they can't find an actual vintage machine.
If Nintendo were smart and not so damn greedy, they would actually release the NES or the Super NES again, or the N64, and release cartridges again at a reduced price. Sell them for like $20. Sell the cartridges for like $20, a console for maybe $100.
Honestly, they could sell it for a reduced price, but with a demand, they might not even need to reduce the price.
That's true. People are paying through the nose. I know N64s in particular. People are paying through the nose for them. And, again, that's a secondary market. If Nintendo were to release it themselves, find the most popular game, the most popular system, most popular games, whatever, and release those, I could see that happening. I think actually what Atari, I don't know how the sales are for Atari, but I think it's a really sharp idea to take your most popular consoles and then also release new games, physical games for that console.
There's enough of demand for it that I can tell you that the old games are going up in price. Like, I know after they released that, the prices of the games went up because we got it for you last year. Our kids got it for you for Christmas. And I didn't know about it till you told me about it. And then by then, everybody knew. And so the game prices, if you compared a couple months prior, were going up a lot because there was a lot of people buying the games, buying the systems.
Let's see if he calls out that the wrong cartridge is in.
The black box there, the ZX81, an amazing early home computer from Sinclair in Cambridge. And that one, you could get a magazine and type the game in physically from the keyboard. It'd be a very short game, but it'd be great fun. Then we got the classic Super Nintendo Entertainment System. That, for a lot of people, was the first time they saw sort of arcade quality graphics coming into their home. And then right up to, more recently, the Wii, which
doesn't even acknowledge that the wrong cartridge is in the.
Probably, honestly, they're so busy talking.
Really kind of popularized a lot of those sort of physical sports games and playing games as a social activity.
I just can't get past the shirt being bulging open there.
I know. I was sitting there thinking, like, dude, you need to play a little more Wii boxing.
Well, no, I was going to say, I mean, I hate that when shirts do that. As a big top woman, I have that problem as well.
As a big top woman.
Big top woman.
All right, so this comes from Video Games Chronicle. I want to report a crime BBC mocked for its wonky Nintendo setup. BBC Breakfast Studio team was responsible for retro games mishap, it claimed. So it said the UK games trade body has moved to explain a BBC Breakfast segment in which the CEO appeared alongside an erroneous retro game setup. 6.5 million people watched it.
Oh, no.
And they're talking about the popularity of retro gaming in the UK. What attracted the most attention on social media was the setup of the retro consoles the CEO brought along to the BBC. Notably, the display prominently featured a Super Nintendo with an NES cartridge inserted into the game slot, somewhat undermining the retro credibility of the section.
I mean, it's so glaringly obvious. If you know, you know, and if you see it, you notice it immediately.
Following the broadcast, UKIE published an explanation for the mishap, claiming the Nintendo sub was the fault of the BBC Breakfast Studio team, not Pool. I mean, they might not have brought him out until they were going to record. We've been on TV before, and they'd like keep you back there and they bring you out for whatever. You don't have time to prepare, but I would have been the first thing I would have been like, that cartridge.
Wait. Couple things. Pull the CEO.
Yes.
And it was supposed to be his stuff.
Yes.
Okay. So he supposedly collects games and it's his stuff, and he comes out as the CEO. and he doesn't notice that they put the wrong cartridge in the wrong system, and then he's trying to blame it on them.
The only thing that I could forgive is if they brought him out and they started running, but they would do his makeup and all that stuff. So he would have time to be like, hey, yeah, that's not right. Don't do that.
Or he didn't notice as he looked down and he just kept going. But then he could have made a joke about it, but instead of taking responsibility, I didn't notice. It's their fault. But it's your system. If it's your stuff and you brought it in to show everybody, look, I have all this vintage, since it's really trending right now, and retro games is trending. I've got a bunch at home, so I'll bring some in. And I think probably was expecting he probably doesn't have a Nintendo. He has a Super Nintendo, and he has a Nintendo.
Like just bring the cartridge in.
He would set it there to show, and they put it in there. You think he would notice that right away if it was his stuff and he was the collector. So either, like you said, he just kept going because he didn't want to break up the segment, which to me was worse because people are going to notice.
They're going to notice, you're in charge.
He blames the interns and stuff behind the scenes.
For
doing it.
Spokesperson says, for transparency, the studio team set up the in-studio display independently and handled the placement of the consoles. Unfortunately, we couldn't adjust it while on air. People on social media said, I want to report a crime. I bet they tried to cram it into the Wii first.
You know what? If it was me and it was my system and I saw that, I would totally be stopping it because I'd be like, oh shit, you probably just ruined my game or my system.
Yeah. I mean, this is like, God. Okay.
It's totally Gen Z. They don't know which slot fits into which hole. I mean, that makes sense.
This is somebody from Amazon Web Services. It made my hair stand up. I know that UKIE didn't assemble the assets, but it does speak to the broader point that there's still a fundamental misunderstanding of video games in the general public. Okay, we'll talk about, because we've mentioned it before, we actually do have a retro gaming arcade, esports center, whatever, it's out there. We don't broadcast where it is, because I don't want our employees harassed. But you would be shocked. You would be, maybe you wouldn't be that shocked, but you would be fairly shocked at the number of kids who don't know how to play a retro console, who don't know how to play, how to work an arcade machine. Like, they don't realize they're two joysticks. One is player one is player two. They go out with both hands.
Though, because they haven't grown up with it. Like, for them, it's just iPads and computers. You'd be shocked about the number of adults that can't play a game online.
No, that's true. Like, I guess for me, it's
not shocking. It just makes sense.
For me, it's like Fortnite is a hell of a lot more complicated than Pac-Man, but they have a really hard time with the basics on that. Pinball. I've had to show so many kids how to play pinball. They don't even understand the concept of it at all. Like, they don't know what the flippers are.
Honestly,
I guess, that was more of a 70s thing, 80s thing, but it's
show them a rotary phone, their heads will explode.
Oh my God. But yeah, like a lot of the time we'd spend at parties and events, it would basically be going around and being like, okay, here's how you put the fake quarters. You put the quarter in the machine, and this is player one, and this is player two. Oh, there's 4 of you on this machine, so you got to go over here, and you go over. And these are like 12, 13-year-old kids.
Well, to be fair, though, a lot of the same kids don't know their email address and don't know their password for their game, and they're asking you what it is. And
also
it's
true.
Oh, I know what your password is for your game.
Yeah, right.
You should know that much at least.
They don't, I swear to God. And if they don't have their phones with them, they don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to do anything. We had a kid in there one time, it was like 2 hours trying to figure out how to get his Fortnite password, and his mom's trying to get the password. Oh God. Anyway, it doesn't surprise me, but I guess if you're the CEO of this organization, you should have caught something so basic.
I know you don't want to interrupt the broadcast, but you could have made a joke and been like, oh, okay.
Since I'm the CEO, I have to point out that this is a regular Nintendo.
I would lose my shit anyway if it was my stuff and I just saw that shoved in there. I'd be like, oh my God. I'd be like, what did you do?
Oh God. Yeah, so they're talking about retro, and retro gaming is big right now with
and
they don't understand it. But they hate it. The companies hate it because they're not getting any more money. Same with back issues and comic books. That's what it feels like. It feels like people are going back to the old stuff that they knew was good.
That's just it. And the thing is, with the retro games, you don't have to worry about them taking over your system and locking you out because you bought a used game. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. If you buy a used copy from somebody else, I don't care. As long as you bought the game system, why does it matter? As long as you didn't steal the copy, why does it matter? And I know why it matters, because then they can't charge you $80, $90 for a digital copy. that they get all the money from. That's why they're trying to stop used games. But thankfully, retro games are growing in popularity. And like you said, we talked about earlier, if Nintendo were smart, they would release the NES, Super NES again, and then start releasing the cartridges that you can buy for it. That would make them a mint, but they won't do it because they're not smart.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the reactions here. God, it's crazy. Do you think they just put the cart in there to represent the NES since they have one? Somebody's like, no. I
just think it's it was interns that, don't know how to use it.
Yes.
I mean, why would they? And they just assumed, this cartridge must be for the system. But when it didn't fit right, you think they kind of, just prop it up in there and leave it.
Well, talking about the cartridge, and I've talked about this before.
Yeah, Super Circus Atari's coming.
Yes, Super Circus Atari. There we go. Now, a lot of these are actually homebrew games that they're releasing for the 7800 now. And the 2600. But I love that Atari is releasing its consoles again, 2600 plus and the 7800 plus. The kids got me a 7800 plus for Christmas. I freaking love it. I've been buying new games for it. And guess what?
They bought a bunch of old games too, though.
Yeah, they did. I got a ton of games, but I'm just loving this concept. I want to see a console that does just that. Like, you can fit so much onto an SD card now that you literally could just do cartridges again and have games that are almost as good as current generation PC games.
I was just thinking people should just start. I think they do. They should just start making games for these old systems.
They do.
Just buy the cartridges. That'd be smarter right now. Offer it across the board.
Atari's always been a lot more open about it than Nintendo. Nintendo, there are some problems. I don't know what's going on. I know. Is it Opcode Games? I think is.
I don't know the sites up. I didn't buy any for you. I actually did pre-order the Popeye before, but there was other games you said you wanted, and I was going to buy them for you, but their website isn't working, and there's no contact or anything, which makes me nervous to give them money.
I just got an email blast from them. So
you did?
This other, they were selling physical copies of the homebrew version of Popeye, which is the arcade game. I think what might have gotten them in trouble is that they actually were going to port the homebrew version of Donkey Kong, the arcade version of it, which is superior to the officially released Atari 7800 version. In fact, it's like 1-to-1 with the arcade. But they put an email blast out about that, and I'm sure Nintendo probably is like, hell
their site still isn't working right. It says under construction. It hasn't changed in like a while, and that makes me nervous. So it is what it is. But yeah, I didn't buy you some of these yet because they were still on pre-order, and you have them on your list. But I didn't buy you Tiger Heli yet. Sorry.
That's okay. I will get all these games. But no, I want to see this. Look, you want kids to learn about retro gaming. Let's make those consoles available. How is it any different? We had the mini consoles, but the problem with the mini consoles is you couldn't actually plug cartridges into.
No, and here's the thing too. If you want your kids to learn about the retro gaming and all that stuff, take them. There are tons of retro arcades popping up with old machines, old arcade machines, everything. Take them to those places. Show them how the old games worked and things like that. Just for fun, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's amazing. Actually, the best experiences that we've had with our little corner of this business is when you have parents come in with their kids, and the parents are showing the kids how it used to be back in the day. Mm-hmm. And we had one of my best memories was we had some kids on Final Fight, and there were like 2 kids, and that was like their favorite game. They were like 8 years old, 10 years old, and all they wanted to do was play Final Fight. Fortnite was there.
Kids are like that.
Yeah, I was like, Fortnite's over there, and we got all these gaming PCs. No, they wanted to play Final Fight. They thought it was like the best thing ever. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, our kids grew up on this stuff, so they've always known how to use this stuff because they were raised on it. So for them,
it's nothing. I was playing retro games.
They teach other kids how to do it.
Yeah, I was playing retro games with Squid King when he was like 2-3 years old, and a little bit of a faux pas there. Hard to take the BBC seriously when they do something this stupid.
I know it was yeah.
All right, we gotta wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.